Hey everybody, Adam Savage here in the cave, and today we're going to be continuing a conversation that we've been having on the channel for a while about hearing loss. Specifically about my hearing loss, also about destigmatizing hearing aids and covering advances in virtual audiology care. Jabra Enhance, the sponsor of today's video, as well as the maker of the hearing aids I've been wearing for a while now, have now made it possible to get a hearing assessment online without needing to visit a clinic. Dr. Katie Keese, Jabra Enhance's head of audiology, visited me here in the cave to answer my questions about at-home audiology and why remote access to hearing care can be life-changing. Hi, Katie. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
I wanted to talk globally about how you guys approached making the hearing aid onboarding process remote.
Yeah. So, I mean, we've been fitting with people with hearing aids for, close to 100 years or so.
Yeah, looking at this old stuff.
As you can see, but the biggest thing that, is my responsibility as an audiologist, as a provider, is to educate and really make sure that the person with the hearing loss and the people around them are able to support and advocate for best communication strategies and things like that. So, historically, it was something that we always had to do in person.
Right.
You had to come to me, I had to fit you, I had to give you the device and give you all the tools to clean it and educate you and anyone else around you. But fast forward now, we're able to do things virtually.
And a lot of that is because with these old hearing aids, these had to be wired in order to make any adjustment to their settings. And now the stuff that I'm wearing in my head, you can do it all remotely. We've been able to miniaturize the electronics way past what we thought was like advanced 25, 35 years ago.
Totally. I know some of the offices I worked in the past, we had our walls of cables and we had our neck loops, and you had to physically be there for me to make any adjustment at all.
Oh my gosh, the neck loops. I totally remember the angel hair wires coming out of my hearing aids during my early audio tests.
They could be such a pain point sometimes when they'd fall out in the middle of things. But
so what were the early challenges you saw with making the onboarding process remote and getting people comfortable with that?
Yeah, so...
Or is it actually getting people comfortable with it?
I think a lot of it is getting people comfortable with it. We've been doing this since the pre-COVID days, and so a lot of people had a healthy level of skepticism of, can you even do these things virtually? And it's definitely not the easy way out, but again, it's giving the person on the other end the tools they need to be equipped with to do things themselves with guidance and education through me.
Are there lessons you guys learned that you were really surprised by in terms of doing this remotely versus in person?
Yeah, so I think one of the biggest lessons is I'm never ageist. There are, what you would consider to be young people who don't know how to properly close an app. And there are, I think our oldest customer is 103, super tech savvy people who are very, very capable of doing things on their own with appropriate level of guidance. And so I think the biggest thing was learning how to empower people on the other end to have a little bit of that DIY spirit and able to troubleshoot and do things themselves when I can't physically change a wax filter or change a dome for you.
I'll tell you the 2 times over COVID, some companies sent me some hearing aids they were testing and asked me to try their onboarding process. And in both cases, that process involved each of the different products making a spiky sound that caused me discomfort. And I was very surprised about how quickly that made me want to just not deal with them again. And very specifically, it made me think, the people that designed this weren't thinking about my personal experience of this.
Yeah.
How do you, I guess, corporatize empathy to understand the customer's experience?
Yeah, I mean, we're very explicit with who we hire, from our marketing to every single person in our company, whether you are customer facing or not, genuinely cares about the experience of the end user. Because at the end of the day, yes, we're selling a product, but we're selling a service with a product, and I want you to be successful with that. And if you're not successful, that's my fault. And so it's always thinking about, how can I make the person on the other end successful, and how can I make sure that their friends and family are able to support them to also be successful.
I will tell you that for me, the very first time I got hearing aids, one of the difficulties I had in making that appointment was I couldn't believe anything could help me. I have a mild loss, about 18 to 22%, depending on the ear. And I just didn't imagine that there was improvement to be gotten. And I was absolutely shocked the first time. Do you get the same rush seeing that look of pleasure on someone's face, whether it's remote or in person?
Oh, absolutely. we end up with people who are experienced users like yourself or brand new users who really don't know what to expect. And I think hearing loss often is so gradual and slow and over time that people don't realize what they're missing till you get it back all at once. And sometimes it can be overwhelming, and I'm there to make adjustments in the moment and make sure it's comfortable. But a lot of times people just didn't realize, oh my God, this is what I was missing, and now I get it back. And so we always like to say we're equal part audiologist and marriage counselor because our entire goal is to get you reconnected with the world around you.
And that starts with your partner.
It definitely can.
Okay, so walk me through your onboarding process. Where does it begin?
Yeah, so there are multiple ways that you can end up with this little box kind of in your possession. So really the start is you have your box, and ideally...
This is something you guys would mail to the customer?
We would mail it directly to the customer. And so once you have your box, it's my job to make sure that you're comfortable with everything in the box. So one thing that we have here is we also have these little cards who walk you through like the actual setup and things like that. We have a YouTube channel that has lots of instructional videos and lots of emails that will come out to you. And one thing with remote care is not just having one way of doing things, it's meeting people where they are with their tech level. And so if you're a visual learner, we've got videos you can watch. If you want some real life support, we have humans on the other end who can talk you through things. So really step one is opening up the box, getting familiar with everything in the box, and then ideally come to an appointment with myself or one of our licensed hearing care professionals, and we can customize the devices and make sure that you're comfortable and confident with the sound quality, how to clean and take care of those devices and get the most out of them.
So Katie, when I'm making that appointment with an audiologist, are your audiologists licensed to be audiologists in the state that I might be in?
Absolutely. It's something that in the world of virtual care is critical that you have the appropriate license. You know, we have 50 states, and my provider team, everyone is licensed and they have multiple licenses, and we can serve all 50 states plus Washington, D.C.
Amazing.
So you can guarantee that, in the state of California, you're going to get a provider that is licensed in the state of California.
So full disclosure, I got one of these boxes from you. I'm wearing a pair of hearing aids from this box. I opened it up. It told me to put it in the charger for a few hours, which I did. That was very clear. The charger's got lights, which are nice and clear.
Yep.
And then I popped them in, and you were able to take the audio profile that I had gotten done, and you were able to just transfer it right into these hearing aids remotely.
Absolutely. And that's one of the really cool things. Often people think, oh, something that's coming through me on the mail, it must be a one size fits most and not really customizable. Our product is absolutely customizable. So whether you have a hearing test from another local ENT or audiologist, I can take that and I can customize your hearing aids and program them to your loss. We also have the option of a free online hearing test. There's research to show the validity of doing an online hearing test to also program hearing aids.
All right, Katie, there's a bunch of, you don't need me to tell you, there's a bunch of moving parts to a hearing aid, but how do you guys work out the fit of the ear wires for this kind of behind the ear hearing aid, and also the ear cups? Ear cones? What are those called again?
Tomato. You've got ear cups, ear cones, earbuds, but domes is often what they're referred to in the hearing aid world.
Okay, so how do you make sure that the wire and the dome fit the customer?
Valid question, because the fit of the hearing aid is the most critical part. Otherwise, if it's not fitting properly, it's not going to sound properly. So we've got our ear measurement tool that we include in all of our kits. You might recognize this.
That's totally, I forgot what that's amazing.
Yeah, so we've got blue for the left and then red for the right.
Okay.
The wires come in 5 different lengths, so we measure on camera. If someone for some reason doesn't have access to a camera, we can have them take a picture and send it to us.
Okay.
So we can measure and make sure that you have the appropriate length of wire on your actual device and send you a longer or shorter one if the size that you have on out of the box isn't appropriate. Amazing.
And then the ear cup, I use these called a tulip right now.
Yes.
I had an issue. My mom's hearing aids were falling out of her ears, and I was saying to her, that shouldn't happen. The ear cup should be able to be part of the adhesion to your head. Am I right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so how do we make sure that fitment is right for the customer?
Yeah, so our box, it includes a variety of all these different ear cups, domes, earbuds, again, whatever you want to call them.
It's like a king's ransom of every size there is.
Absolutely. So we have a variety of different sizes and styles. The size is important based off the anatomy of your ear, whereas the style is important based off the sound quality that you can expect from your hearing loss. So we have an open style that kind of allows sound out.
So that's open style is a cup that has holes in it, so some sound from the outside world comes into the ear canal as well as what the hearing aid generates.
Absolutely, and for those with less low frequency hearing loss, it doesn't plug you up as much.
That's me. I have all low frequency hearing loss, which is uncommon.
Yeah.
That's why I cover more. Yeah.
And that's why, like with your tulip style, that's like a very specific anatomical and sound quality type of dome. And then you also have some closed styles, which again don't have as many holes, so it keeps that sound in your ear and from leaking out.
The very first time I put hearing aids in my ear, I was unprepared for even the soft rubber of the cone. Caused me some discomfort for the first few days while my ears got used to it. How easy is it to get a hold of somebody online, either via chat or Zoom meeting, to be able to talk about those discomforts?
Yeah, so you can just go online and book an appointment with us as a licensed provider, but also you can just give us a call on our customer service team is there to answer. We have chat, you can email us, and you can also even just buy these extra domes online through a little store that we have on our website. So. All
right, Katie, when I first got hearing aids, I went with a major local hospital, a gold standard institution, teaching hospital with a huge audiology department, and I was vexed repeatedly about how long it took me to get appointments and to get adjustment appointments, like six weeks sometimes, just to get in front of somebody. How do you guys deal with being able to see people at a reasonable pace?
Sure. So I mean, that's a very real world experience that lots of people deal with. And so one thing that's really cool here is because we are virtual, we're able to see people pretty quickly. We like to see people at least no more than like 2 to 3 weeks after they get their first device, and we're able to do adjustments in appointments live, but we can also do adjustments asynchronously through the app, so you're not having to wait another 6 weeks for an appointment if I just need to turn the volume up a little bit.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Katie, what are some of the other things people could expect when they're doing a virtual online onboarding?
Yeah, absolutely. So during that virtual appointment, we always start with hearing health history. So, I know you personally have quite an extensive hearing health history, so just learning a bit about you, and if I need to refer out to someone locally, I absolutely will. And then we also want to know your goals. Why are you here? Did your wife drag you here, or are you here because of your own accord? And really figuring out the why, because the why is what's going to make sure that I know you're being successful. So there's lots of different ways to get outcomes. We use something called the Client-Oriented Scale of Improvement, the COSI survey. So yeah, we figure out your why, and that's what we refer back to every single time we see you.
Now, a couple of times in the past, when I've seen an ENT, my ears have historically produced a tremendous amount of wax. And that has caused some ENTs to say, I can't see today. I've got to send you for an ear cleaning appointment before I get a viable hearing test.
Yeah.
How would that work with the virtual appointment?
Oh, we'll be the first people to refer out if necessary, because that is absolutely a limitation. I can't remove wax out of your ears. I'm not physically there most of the time. So if there's ever anything where there's a red flag, is what we call it, then we would simply refer you. If you don't have someone local, it's also my job to help you find someone local who can provide you that care. So.
Incredible. Okay, so it took me a long time, but I got my 91-year-old mom to get hearing aids a few years back.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you. I think my winning argument was, Mom, no one who got hearing aids ever thought it was a bad idea after the fact. No one ever said, oh, I shouldn't have done that. So she got them. But she called me up one day and said, listen, I can't hear out of this hearing aid, and it says it's on and it says that it's working. And I gave her the instruction of pull off the ear cup, roll it around, and some wax will probably come out, and try just putting it back on. And she was like, oh my gosh, that worked. So there's a lot of little hints and tricks to know about owning a hearing aid. How do you guys disseminate those sort of lessons to the customer base?
Yeah, and that's back to that whole thing around education, right? It's my job to teach you so that you're equipped with the tools to troubleshoot on your own. So when things look to be on but they're not working, you know what to do. So we absolutely have these little guys. Looks like a little matchbook, but it's actually a wax filter.
I love the wax filters. Every time I put one in, everything sounds better.
Yeah, absolutely. So, in the appointment, we're teaching how to utilize this, how to take off that little dome, how to push in and take out the full wax filter and then replace it. But we also have YouTube videos that we send after the fact so that someone in, 3 months down the road or 1 month or maybe even sometimes a couple days, depending on who you are, can reference that and they can do it on their own as well.
I have this technique I do, which is I can tell when there's wax buildup is if I touch the top of the hearing aid, I can hear the difference in the crispness of the sound. Do you guys give like little lessons and stuff like that for people to how to maintain them?
Absolutely. We teach you what to expect, what's normal and what's not normal. So that, I love it. The mic check, like, okay, yes, I hear it. Or, figure out, is my phone the problem? If it's connected to the phone, is it the receiver wire? Is it the wax filters clogged? Or is it actually all that's working fine and maybe it's actually my ears myself and I do need to go get something checked out physically. So we give all the tips and tricks to know how to kind of troubleshoot and figure out what's going on with your device.
All right, Katie, I've got Jabra Select up and running. Walk me through how I would use this app.
Yeah, so it's very important that we, again, back to education, teach people how to use the Jabra Enhanced Select app so they know what they need to come to me for versus what you can just do on your own. So we walk through all the different programs that we can utilize. They come with 4 different programs. We've got a little sound equalizer here that I can see you've been playing around with it since you've been wearing your devices. And you can make your own kind of sound quality in your own settings and you can save it like that. What's really great is you can also come up here and you can actually reach out to me asynchronously, and this is where you send that adjustment request to me. So again, if you've been playing around with that sound equalizer and you're like, actually, I keep turning up those high frequencies, great. Come in here, send me a request, then I'll turn around in a couple days and send it back to you and you can install it through the app. So this is how we communicate and how we're able to program those hearing aids virtually through the cloud.
And the app will show me that there's an update that I can install, a little red dot somewhere?
Yep.
Okay.
So just a little red dot that you can go and you can install those settings. And then we also have a help center. So again, like those wax guards, those domes that you were talking about where you can get your supplies, all your cleaning videos, and just really some good solid troubleshooting walkthrough tips that you can access all in your pocket.
I think that some people might be nervous about trying to explain something as subjective as I'm having trouble hearing one of my relatives in the restaurant. What is your guys' protocol for walking people through how to let them help you help them?
Oh, great question. Because when you're trying to explain something so subjective as hearing, it can absolutely be tricky. And it's my job to help kind of guide you and get out of you exactly what is going on. So it's your experience, but also bring people to your appointments if you want. And if other people can, talk about what's going on as well, it's fun for the whole family, I guess.
You must have some customers who come really reluctantly and say, my children are forcing me to come to this appointment. I don't agree with them. How do you gently walk them through that there might be something that can help?
Yeah, so I know I've said it a million times, but it's back to that education. I love to educate people on what they're experiencing and give them the words that they don't realize that they actually have. So, whether it's explaining hearing loss and how we, test across all frequencies and what low frequency hearing loss might sound like to you versus what high frequency hearing loss might sound like. So a common complaint, especially for those people, are I hear people, but everyone mumbles around me. When really, guess what? High frequency hearing loss, it reduces the clarity of speech. And so you don't need volume, you need clarity. So again, it's giving people the language that they don't actually have, or it might be everyone else's fault. And sometimes it might be other people's fault, but for the time when it's not, it's giving people the language to articulate what they're experiencing.
One of the hints I gave in one of the early videos I did on this channel about hearing loss was I said, if you're talking to someone with some hearing loss and they say, what? It's really important that you don't just repeat what you said in the exact same cadence you said it the first time, because those of us with hearing loss are always rewinding what we've heard and trying to replay it. And if we didn't get it the first time, I'm never going to get it. I now have aphasia for that cadence. And so it's really important that someone says it in a different way.
Absolutely. And it's just really learning good communication strategies for the people you're around the most. So if I turn my back to you and start talking like this, fortunately, I have a microphone on today, but not everyone has a microphone on that's going straight into someone's ears. So it's learning how to advocate for yourself when someone's not using a good communication strategy as well. So knowing where to sit in the noisy restaurant, knowing where to sit in a classroom setting, or if you're going to a theater or something along those lines. It's knowing those good communication strategies. So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So we had an orientation about, I don't know, maybe a week or two ago. How have things been going since our orientation?
I'm so glad you asked. As a longtime hearing aid wearer, I'm very sensitive to features and the ways the hearing aids actually help me. I will say, as advertised, these are great. They're working just fine. I've been wearing jabras now for about a year and a half, 2 years, and I really like them. I like their expense. I like how inexpensive they are. I like how dynamic the app is. And specifically in doing things like listening to podcasts or taking phone calls on these hearing aids, this is my favorite model I have yet used for that. And when I talk on the phone, the experience of the person I'm talking to is the best I've had yet with a hearing aid.
Oh, good. I'm so glad to hear that. Because again, it's my job to make sure that you're successful with these.
Yeah.
Because if you're not, then I've not done my part. So I'm really elated to hear that as someone who's an experienced hearing aid wearer, how it's been going for you.
So to the viewer, yes, these are sponsored videos, and that is an absolutely true statement I gave about my experience of these hearing aids. Both of those things are true. Katie, thank you so much for walking me through this process. It's fascinating. I love the idea that you could scale how many more people can be wearing hearing aids. It has been such a massive boon to my life and in a personal level to my marriage to be able to hear better. And I just want more people to go out and get these devices.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for being an advocate for treating your hearing loss and trying to destigmatize that this is something that anyone should be embarrassed of, because it's a really cool piece of technology that really just connects people with the world and the people around them.
Kind of like glasses.
Kind of like glasses, yes.
Thank you so much for watching. Thanks to Jabra Enhance for sponsoring today's video and for showing us how it's possible to get hearing care at home. For more information on Jabra Enhance Select hearing aids, you can follow the links below. And if you're even thinking you have some hearing loss, go get it checked out. Seriously, hearing aids are a miracle.